So hello everyone and welcome to another episode in our Talk Travel series. This is your weekly inspiration and information on talking travel. I'm very covering the Galapagos Islands, and from the numbers of people that are joining us, we know that it's probably on your bucket list as well as mine. It's just an amazing, unique destination, and we're going to share lots of information with you today. This bucket list destination is absolutely amazing because of its geological features. It's the richest marine eco world. And it's hardly surprising that there are very strict rules that surround going into the Galapagos Island areas, particularly with tourism. They restrict the amount of ships that go in. They're very particular about the type of ships. And therefore, it's important that this ecosystem is protected. And not only is it protected, but a lot of the ships that go in for tourism are part of a research program as well. So they're giving back to the conservation program. Now, as I've mentioned previously on our Talk Travel episodes, for those of you who don't know us, I'm Anne, and I'm part of a family business which is now over 55 years old. We're an independent travel agency, and we've built up our reputation on a couple of things, really. It's about our destination knowledge, our expertise, and according to FIFO, outstanding customers. Now, we're very particular about the operators that we work with. We have a huge choice because we're independent, and therefore we can be a little bit picky about those tour operators that we do work alongside. I'm delighted today that we are joined by Celebrity Cruises. They have consistently offered quality products over the many years that we've worked with them. Most of you will know them for ocean cruising, but actually they've got a small fleet of expedition cruise ships, and that's what we're going to be concentrating on today because they are ideal, and one of them purpose-built for the Galapagos Islands. So I am delighted to welcome them. But just before I do pass you over to the absolute expert, can I remind you that if you do want to ask a question, because this is the beauty about being live, is if you want to ask a question, just click on the chat bubble and ask your question throughout this presentation, and then we will address those questions right at the end. Okay, so this is it. I'm going to pass you over to Leon, who is the master, no pressure, Leon, the master at the Galapagos. Thank you for joining us, Leon. I know you're so busy at the moment.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Anne. It's always a pleasure to talk to all of the lovely people that you are with, and it's my pleasure to talk about Galapagos Islands and to work with you as always. So are you happy for me to begin?
Yes, indeed. Please go ahead.
Excellent. Okay, well, a very good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey that we're going to take you on virtually. And as Anne said, the beauty of a virtual world is that we can go anywhere. And I'm going to take you on a journey that I actually embarked upon a few years ago, and that really, without any exaggeration, changed my life. And so on behalf of Del Mar World and Celebrity Cruises, we're going to have a look at the Galapagos Islands. So I really just want to share my story because about 4 years ago, I was sent, my title is company trainer, but I was sent to the Galapagos Islands by Celebrity, not a bad job, to really experience every aspect of the incredible experience that we offer, and to come back and to tell the story. So there are three things I want to really point out before I get started, which is when you travel to the Galapagos with Celebrity Cruises, it is a seamless new luxury experience. Everything is included and it's all ultra luxury, and it is environmentally conscious. It's so important to stress that we leave no footprint. And as Anne said quite rightly, we are actually giving something back in many ways, which I'll cover. So what I'm going to do now is try and show you a film. Hopefully you'll be able to see it and hear it. And this gives you a fabulous overview of our Galapagos Islands. Okay, so let's roll tape.
Galapagos Islands is as close as you'll ever get to nature. I was lucky enough to visit the Galapagos Islands back in June, and I can honestly say, as cheesy as it sounds, it was completely life-changing. There are species on those islands that are endemic to the islands. You won't see them anywhere else in the world. And for me, it just felt like I was in a David Attenborough documentary from the moment we landed. There is never a bad time to go to the Galapagos Islands. Celebrity cruises sail there all year round. And really, it depends on what species you want to see with your own eyes. We might have bird watchers with the sea lion pups, or spot the blue-footed boobies. So I would just kind of narrow down when you want to visit the islands and take it from there, really. Celebrity Flora is the first vessel that has ever specifically been built for the Galapagos Islands, so the destination was just completely at the forefront of what we were trying to achieve, which is to bring guests as close to nature as possible. Being built for sustainability, there are so many incredible features, all based around how we conserve the islands. What becomes very personal in the Galapagos is you want to very much have left no mark. It's all about protecting the conservation. I'm really confident that when guests sail with celebrity cruises in the Galapagos Islands, that they're doing it in the most eco-friendly manner. The accommodation on board Celebrity Flora, it's full suite accommodation. We have just 100 guests, so 50 suites for dual occupancy. The suites have been designed so incredibly well. One of my favourite features is that the beds face the water. So when you wake up in the morning, nice and early, you are just literally looking out and seeing all of the activity on the island with all of the species. It's incredible. Culinary is one of our pillars, and we make no exceptions in the Galapagos Islands. The food is very much locally sourced, sustainable. The chefs do an incredible job. We have Michelin star chefs at the helm of our ships, and there is an awful lot of choice. Celebrity cruises have ready-made itineraries for the Galapagos. We actually have 3 vessels in the fleet in total. So aside from Celebrity Flora, we have Celebrity Expedition and Celebrity Exploration. Our 10-night ready-made itinerary is the most popular. So that will include international flights. You will arrive into Quito and you will spend a couple of nights in Quito and exploring the city, both on a culinary journey and also a city tour is included. So our guests absolutely love that experience. When our guests have finished their 2-day exploration of Quito, we will whisk them off to the airport where we pick up our exclusive charter flight, taking them straight across to the island of Vulture in the Galapagos Islands. Once we arrive onto the island of Vulture, they are literally transferred within minutes to embark the vessel, and that's when their real adventure begins. So if you want to find out more about Celebrity and the Galapagos, we've got incredible reference material available to you. Wildlife calendars, all the ins and outs of all 3 vessels. Get in contact. I'm more than happy to share that information with you. With regards to top places I've ever visited in the world, I think Galapagos Islands is right up there. It feels like there's nowhere else like it.
Wow. Okay. So hopefully you were all able to listen to my colleague Johnny Pease and really hear his passion. And to me, more than ever before now, conservation and sustainability is more important than ever before to anyone. So I want to really focus in on the fact that we are very, very particular about how we operate in this fragile part of the world, but what we do to give back. So we put overlays which have been contributed by our guests into various initiatives and programs to ensure that we are supporting and conserving the wildlife, the flora, the fauna, and the communities in the Galapagos Islands. So we are working alongside the Galapagos Natural Park and the Ecuadorian government to ensure that we are continuing to support them and that no damage is done, but in fact, quite the opposite, we're helping them to grow and sustain their livelihood and, of course, the fragile ecosystem. I think I travel with companies that do right and have a purpose. And of course, you want to go on this incredible bucket list journey knowing that everything is taken care of. So really, a lot of it was already covered by Johnny in that amazing video. But I'm just going to go through the highlights of the Galapagos, my experience at the Galapagos, and also give you an idea of, what an incredible experience this is, given that everything is included. There is nothing that you have to pay for. The only time I put my hand in my postcards in the local markets and to buy something from the gift shop on the ship, and that was it. So, as Johnny said, a fly cruise with the Galapagos, with celebrities to Galapagos, includes return flights to Quito. And then, so you'll land at Quito Airport, and then you'll spend 2 full nights and a full day in South America's second highest capital city, Quito. It's amazing. It has got such an incredible, rich tapestry of culture, architecture, so much to see and do. And you're home from home for 2 days. It's a 5-star Marriott hotel with breakfast and dinner include full city tour. You'll see the highlights of this incredible capital city. You'll also go to the equator line and get a certificate to prove that you've been stood right on the equator. Ecuador means equator in Spanish, by the way. Then when the time comes for your ultimate trip as part of this holiday, we will then take you to the Galapagos Islands. So this is an aircraft that is an Airbus that's chartered by us and is private. It is only for our guests. And the flight's about 1 hour and 45 minutes. The island's 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador. So it's a comfortable flight, 2-course meal, catered entertainment, you name it. And then when you're met at the Galapagos Islands by our naturalists, they will then take you to the ship, and it's a 10-minute transfer down to the coast. I just thought I'd give you an idea of where they are and what makes up the Galapagos Islands. There's approximately 19 islands, 13 of which are inhabited. And the main bigger islands that you can see are covered in Itineraries. We have southern and northern loop, inner and outer, always 7 nights, and always round trip from Baltra, which you can see in the middle there. So one of the things for me that is most memorable is the interaction with the naturalists. So this is a team of experts that are with you night and day. And this lady is actually the cruise director. Her name's Esmeralda, and she and her team know every island, every bit of flora, fauna, wildlife inside out. They have to go through study and qualify as a Galapagos guide. So they will take you on an incredible journey, and you'll visit 2 different places every single day over the course of a week. And there is really a difference between visiting and experiencing. So you will really get to immerse yourselves in every way possible, active and experiential when it comes to really enjoying the Galapagos Islands. So all of the equipment is provided for you, and we have gentle, mild, and active, of course, included every single day. So let's talk about the animals, because really this is the main reason why we're going. Group of Islands was obviously made famous by Charles Darwin back in the early 1800s when he traveled on the HMS Beagle, which was actually on a 5-year journey around the globe, and stopped off to study the incredible animals. And then, as a result of his study and analysis and research, he came up with the world-changing theory of evolution, the survival of the fittest, and so on and so forth. These creatures are like no other on the planet. The marine iguana is the only aquatic that is able to hold its breath and reduce its body size so that it can dive down to the water and forage on the ocean bed for up to 45 minutes. It's even developed special gills, and when it goes up to the top after its swim and its lunch, it sunbathes and then expels the salt in the seawater that it's ingested, and that itself is an incredible sight. And these birds, for example, the Flightless Cormorant it's basically a fish with wings. Thousands of years of evolution. It doesn't use its wings, and they're like gills. They're like fins, and it dives for its food, and it's learned to hold its breath as well. So, of course, every single island features different animals, different wildlife. These are amazing. These are kind of the iconic animal of the Galapagos. And the word booby comes from the anglicization of the Spanish word bobo, which means silly, because when the Spaniards discovered the Galapagos in the 1600s, they saw these birds with big blue feet and big red feet, and they thought they were clown-like, so they called them bobo. But this is an anglicized version, and they are huge, huge creatures with really bizarre mating rituals, and they're just fascinating to watch, as are the waved albatross. Now, these mate for life. And I don't know whether you've read recently, but in the Pacific, one of the Pacific islands, it's been reported in the news that a 70-year-old female has just laid an egg. So these long time, and they have a wingspan of up to 2 meters. And of course, my favorite are the turtles, the tortoises, and the sea lion. They're very, very playful. The sea lions will interact, they will pose for you, and they're very, very playful, and they love to joke around and play like little children. And they have no natural predators, so they see you as another animal, and they're very, very curious. So you can really get up close and personal with them. Okay, I'm going to Galapagos Fleet. As my colleague Johnny said, Celebrity Cruises sails all year round, all inclusive in the Galapagos with 3 vessels. Celebrity Exploration is a small, luxurious catamaran that takes up to 16 passengers. So this is an ideal experience if you want a very kind of intimate, social type of holiday, as it only takes 16 people, but it's no less luxury for that. We then move on to Expedition, which has been recently refurbished and renovated. 8 guests, and this is the ship I sailed on. Plenty of outside space. We have a gorgeous outside restaurant, a hot tub. We have a gym, a spa, and again, it's like a super yacht, if you like. And it's a very, very relaxing place and small enough to really enjoy the Galapagos Islands inside and out. So what I want to do now is really focus on the jewel in the crown of Celebrity's Galapagos Islands program, which is Celebrity Flora. Now, this beautiful vessel, again, is our first ever all with 100 guests. So this is the absolute paramount of ultra luxury expedition cruising. And we are so proud that even barely 2 years old, she is winning awards globally. Why is she unique? It's because, as Anne said at the beginning of this presentation, she's been built with the Galapagos in mind, arguably one of the most environmentally friendly ships on the planet, extremely modern, beautifully designed, very luxurious, and perfect for a luxury Galapagos holiday. So I'm going to just show you around, if that's okay, and you ultimately are going to be leaving and joining the ship with this great area, which is called the marina. And we have special hydraulic platforms that allow you to get on and off the ship very seamlessly using these Nuvarania yacht tenders. They're called ribs. So we've built these and had them designed especially for Flora. They're larger and more comfortable and super technological. Now, again, Anne very happily mentioned, in the Galapagos with Celebrity Cruises, you will be a part of the research and analysis on all of the geological and aquatic kind of scientific information. And the lab allows our guests to join in and get involved with the research that we're doing and the data collection that we are putting together to send to all the major research and scientific centers that are predicting weather patterns and storms such as El Nino in the Pacific Ocean. You are part of that really important research program. But of course, you want to relax. You're going to be very active during the day, so you can enjoy a full breakfast, lunch, and dinner, open dining all the time, wherever you are in our seaside restaurant. The Discovery Lounge is where you gather for a drink and a chat, and then you watch your presentations for the following day, and we'll take you through every single aspect of your shore excursion experience. We've got an additional open air restaurant, which of course it's a beautiful grill restaurant, fresh seafood, meats, you name it. The Sunset Lounge and the Vista are fabulous outside areas. And again, as Johnny said, the most important thing is being outside, being close to the world around you. You want to be near the islands if you're not on the islands. And with Flora, you can do this. And this, to me, I've got to do it. It costs about $299, and you're allowed to spend the night under the stars, have a full 3-course meal, and then turn down service with it and wake up to a full breakfast for sunrise. How amazing would that be? And there are 4 private cabanas on board. So finishing off with the accommodations, nothing is missed out. Every detail is in the experience. And of course, it's all about sort of the ecological and sustainable aspect. So every single accommodation is a suite. Every single one has a butler service. And we'll start from the top, the penthouse suite. Wow, they take up a quarter of the top deck. All of the suites, the main selling point is the floor-to-ceiling windows. Can you imagine waking up and seeing that landscape and that sunset and the sunrise? Another exciting thing is the majority of our suites have the infinite balcony. So these were debuted on Edge and Apex. And it's a floor-to-ceiling window that actually transforms into a balcony at the touch of a button. So we have sky suites with traditional balconies too, but no less luxurious for that. And as you can see, beautiful, really, really luxurious, gorgeous home from home. So I'm going to finish off now with telling you what itineraries are available. So we have 3 ships in Galapagos, 2 do northern and southern loop, Saturday to Saturday, and then Flora does inner and outer. You can book 10, 11 and 16 night packages. So with Flora, our beautiful 100 passenger mega yacht, you do one or the other, inner or outer, as you can see from this little map here. And to go on a smaller ship, you can do northern and southern loop with Celebrity Expedition or Celebrity Exploration. Now, before I finish, I'm just going to go through the main questions that many people ask me is, you know, what's the difference? So as Anne said, we're very, very, very strict on the amount of people that we can let in and out of the Galapagos at any time. And that's, that's law. So you will always, we have to rotate the itineraries according to what government say, but you will always see the main islands and you will always see the animals that are most popular, such as blue-footed boobies, turtles, giant tortoises, and so on and so forth. So a 10 and 11 night package is a fly cruise, which includes 2 nights in Quito before your 7-night cruise, and then either another 1 or another 2 nights in Quito before you fly home, everything included. This to me is probably the ultimate in terms of aspirational travel and bucket list destinations and holiday experience, which is an additional in Peru after your 10-night cruise. And again, everything's taken care of. What you pay includes all scheduled and charter flights, all transfers, hotel accommodation, your train tickets, entry tickets to national parks and so on and so forth. And of course, fully escorted tours with an expert guide and tour manager. So that's on my bucket list, Machu Picchu. So I really hope that that has given you some inspiration and you're as excited as I am about islands. And thank you so much for letting me share my story with you.
Aww.
And I think, is that okay?
That's great. That's absolutely great, Leon. And thank you. Every time I see you present this, I think, I've got to go. I've got to go.
Oh, thank you.
You know, it is unique, isn't it? And your enthusiasm and your knowledge, it's one of those areas that you have to speak to somebody who's experienced
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
And just to let everyone know, we've had a few clients book on this particular celebrity program, as you know, Leon, and the feedback that we get is stunning, absolutely stunning. The company do a fantastic job, and as you say, everything's included. So you're just in the hands of celebrity to show you the best of what there is to see. Very important. There are questions that have come through. So what I'm going to ask you is, you know, the time of the year. In the program, it did say you can go any time, but it mentions a calendar. It's obviously there are species that would be better seen at certain times of the year. So how do you sort of home in on the absolute ideal time?
Oh goodness, it's such a good question. I mean, I would start off by saying that you have to kind of really know what it is.
Yeah.
So we ensure that we are going to ensure that all of our guests see the main sites. They always want to see the giant tortoises, the Pacific greenback turtles, blue-footed boobies, marine iguanas. Different times of the year means there's a nesting season, the mating season, and I would say probably in the middle of the year is a good time to see a lot of activity.
So summertime.
Yeah.
June, July, that sort of time.
Yes. Now I've sent a full wildlife calendar to you and the team, so that if any of your customers, any of your clients want specific information, you can give that to them. But in terms of weather, January to June is kind of the dry season,
right?
And then later on, it's always warm, but it gets a bit cooler later on in the year. And then when we get to kind of October, November, December, it's what's called the Garuwa season, and the Garuwa is a wind, causes fog, but only high up. But it's actually better for me because I don't tolerate very hot weather, so I went in October.
Right.
But it's on the equator, so it's always warm and it's always pleasant, and they never really have heavy rain.
Right. Okay. Thanks for that, Leon. And the other thing is, you know, as far as clothing is concerned, snorkeling equipment, all of that sort of thing, you know, packing for this sort of holiday can be difficult if you've never done it before. Yes. So what advice there? What, you know, is snorkel equipment included, for instance?
All you need, it's a very good question. Everything in terms of your activity, everyone gets their own wetsuit. Everyone gets their own flippers. Everyone gets their own personal set of equipment to snorkel, to swim, and whatever. My advice is take a good, sturdy pair of walking shoes or even boots, and then take waterproof clothing and comfortable clothing that's also neutrally colored. The animals, they're not used to bright colors. So I think, you know, khaki, but something that's comfortable and that can breathe, because you're going to do if you want to, you're going to do quite a bit of walking. And of course, you're going to go all that way and do plenty of walking and sightseeing. So when you're on the islands, you want a good pair of walking shoes. And then very important is make sure you're covering your head. Now, as you can see, I'm not the most follically blessed person in the world. So
Notice.
Yes, thank you, Anne. I took a baseball cap, but it wasn't enough.
Right.
So I actually bought a wide-brimmed khaki hat, like you see sort of people in the, the David Attenborough programs,
Yeah.
and really high sunblock. And another tip from me is to take insect repellent too.
Yes.
The insects are busy on the island. But yeah, it's a very good question. Yeah, good shoes, very good shoes, walking shoes and boots.
Okay. No, that's really good, and it's good, sensible advice. I've been on safaris before. The second time I went, I was a lot wiser. I knew what I was doing. So it's always good to get that information up front. Now, there's something else, and this is coming from me now to all you guys that have stayed with us, and it's so lovely to see so many of you that have joined us. But as you know, the pandemic has cancelled a lot of most holidays, and all the people that had booked for Galapagos and to travel last year, we managed to book all of them, rebook, for either late this year or into next year. Now, what that means for people who are just thinking about going to the Galapagos now is that availability isn't great because we've missed a year of sailing. So what would your advice be, Leon? Because it's small ships, small capacity. It's not like as though we've got an endless amount of availability. So when's time to start thinking about going to the Galapagos, given what I've just said?
Don't waste any time.
Right.
The good news is that 2023 is going to be available to book on Friday. And because, for two reasons, obviously, not great capacity, not large capacity on these ships, 100 one, 43 on another, 16 on the third. And also because Galapagos is really on the map for so many people. Add that to all the pent-up demand that we get the okay to start sailing and traveling. This is going to book very, very quickly. Plus, Flora is kind of a very aspirational must-do, must-see experience. So I would say, Anne, that now don't waste any time if you want to go there and you want to do it in true style and comfort luxury.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask our guests to just indicate in the box if they can, or just call us if they want that 2020 information and the calendar that you've referred to, because I think what you're saying is if you get in fairly quickly, then you're bound to get what you want. And, obviously for the people that have joined us today, this is an optimum time. So just indicate whether or not you're interested in us sending you further information on this and keeping you updated.
And just a little point to add to that, and that we have an international mix of clients. So we actually sell in every country in the world. So we've got other people it's a big amount of people in the US and Canada that do Galapagos. It's very popular with the Aussies and the Brits. And so there's a lot of people around the world that are looking at Flora and Galapagos.
Of course, we don't tend to realise that. I have had another question, but just before I address that, if any of our guests wanted to travel beforehand, is there some availability, or is it completely full?
Well, again, it's a very good question. I can't give you the exact figures, but I do know that bookings are up because based on, again, the reputation of Celebrity Flora and Celebrity in Galapagos. People have booked well. People book well in advance.
Of course, yeah.
So it's in huge demand, and luxury holidays and all-inclusive holidays are more popular than ever. That they give.
Yeah. The question. Sorry, Leon. I'm just firing them at you.
That's all right. Go for it.
But do you need any vaccinations? One of our ladies wants to know.
Good question, and the answer is no. I always advise that if you're traveling to other continents, such as South America, make sure you check with your travel professional or the government website of any
Yeah.
absolutely essential vaccinations. But when I went, I didn't need any.
This is the present requirement at the moment. Things could change, and that's where we need to be kept updating. And of course, the vaccination that you probably will require
Well,
could, of course, be COVID. Who knows?
Of course.
At the moment, it's wait and see. But that's the one. And another question that I've had from Mark is, can you give an indication of costs? Now, this is a difficult one.
But well, I mean, at the moment, I wouldn't like to say simply because I would like to look at real live pricing at the moment. But you're looking at very, very roughly ballpark figure, a lead in for Flora, between 7,000 and 8,000 per person. But that's going to, as I said, that's going to include pretty much everything. So what I love about this is, and also this is super, super ultra luxury.
Yeah. And Leon, go for one of the smaller ships. Does that sort of reduce the price a little bit? Or?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
It does, because Flora is purely suite, so it's a suite service, a suite experience, and obviously the price will reflect that. But again, if you want to go on a smaller ship and you want to go for an ocean view or a balcony, then there are those options too, and they are, suitably priced.
Yes. So I mean, the answer to that, I think, is that there's a range of price, and happy to talk you through that on an individual basis. Also, what about altitude issues in Quito?
I'm glad you asked that, because as Johnny said, we give you 2 nights in Quito to acclimatize. It is 9,000 feet above sea level, and you just have to be conscious that at that altitude there is less oxygen in the air that you breathe than you are used to.
Yeah.
So if you have any sort of pulmonary or any sort of medical condition with that, just be conscious of that. I was okay, but I used to be a ski rep, but what I didn't, so I'm used to working in the mountains, but what I did notice is now and again I'd go, and your body just kind of goes, whoa, there's less oxygen in the air. I would say, it's common sense, and just be prepared for it. And by the time you're ready to go to the Galapagos, your body's used to it.
Great. Thanks, Leon. I think that it's great that we've had so many questions, so much interest. Just to remind everybody that although our doors aren't open at the moment, we are open for business in terms of Zoom appointments, because obviously this type of holiday would need quite a bit of discussion. So we'd recommend Zoom appointments. 2 of our staff in particular are very well trained on the Galapagos. That's Anita and Samantha, and they're both on duty for indefinitely. So if to call us, then it would either be Anita or Samantha that would pick up the phone anyway. So you can always have a chat, get an idea, and particularly let us know if you want to be kept informed of the 2023 programme, which is about to go on sale tomorrow. Now, Friday. Because our clients are so special, have you got anything that you could offer them as a little incentive to our wonderful Del Mar clients?
I'm glad you asked me that. So just a correction there, Anne, on Friday.
Oh, sorry, Leon. Thank you.
Friday. So, when you wake up on Friday morning, don't forget. Yes, so because you've given us a chance to talk about Galapagos, and we love working with you, there is an offer, and it's this. So for anybody who has attended this event, if you book a Galapagos cruise, any date, any ship, any sailing, every guest will get £200 off the cruise fare. So there's a 200% discount for anyone booking within 14 days of today. So that's a 2-week period, £200 off. It's not bad, is it?
No, indeed not. That's great. And what I would like to add, only for the guests that have joined us today, is that Delmar will make sure that you have a private taxi to the airport from our locality. So within the Wrexham area, we will provide a return taxi to Manchester for all those booking within that period. So that's our little gift to you. I've just had a note to say that loyalty guests, so if you are celebrity members, is that right? Celebrity.
That's correct. Class at the Captain's Club.
Captain's Club. Yes, because I know we've got clients that are part of the Captain's Club that have cruised with celebrity. Actually book tomorrow, and then it's the public, isn't it, on Friday?
That's right. So thank you for prompting me. Yeah, so we open up any new sailings first to our loyal repeat guests who are members of the Captain's Club. They get first dibs, really, and then the day after it's open to the general public. So that's a really good shout. Thank you for reminding me.
No, that's we're helping each other here, Leon.
Of course we are.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us, Leon. It's always a pleasure.
My pleasure.
I just want to remind you guys that it's every Wednesday we talk travel at 12 noon, and next week we are talking to a company called Tradewind, who have just launched a yacht, the largest yacht sailing ship, which is about to go from the UK in June. And actually, I wrote a feature on this in Essentials magazine, if any of you get it. So if you want to know a bit more, have a look at that or have a look at our website. But it's a very interesting sail, and you can, I believe, take part in the sailing of this yacht. And so if it's ever been your fancy to sail on a yacht, this wonderful vessel starts in the UK and it is going to go around the world, and you can buy different segments of it. So join us next week for something a little bit different. In the meantime, keep safe and keep smiling. See you next week.